Good morning and welcome to Pendleton Community Church of God. I cannot believe that I am not here with you today. It's the day that my greatest mentor and my friend, Trey Oldham, takes the Peachhog platform. Once again, I learned almost everything I know about pastoral ministry from this guy, this man of God who believed in me. He poured into me and he trusted me with this place, and I just love you so much. The Oldhams are not just guests here, they're family. And Trey is currently the pastor in Louisiana at the North Crossings Church in Monroe, Louisiana. But before that, he was right here in this building, in this place, for 13 years. 13 years he was here. I'm sure it seems like it flew by, didn't it? Trey, Amy, Malachi, Aiden, we love you, we miss you. We're so glad that you're here visiting today, all the way from Louisiana. Would you please join me in welcoming Pastor Trey Oldham. Good morning and welcome to Pendleton Community Church of God.
Thought we were going to get to hear him again.
I can if you want.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Wow. So 16 years ago, I left my home, I left my family, and I moved here to Anderson, Indiana, to start a life. And I came here with a lot of mixed emotions. For the most part of my life, I had not left a 30-mile radius. And here I was with this new call to learn more about being a pastor by going to seminary. Guys, I got an agriculture degree. I never expected anything like this in my life. And it was by the grace of God that he reached out and met me where I was. And so I came here, and I ended up in a classroom with a guy by the name of Todd Faulkner. And Todd was the youth pastor and worship pastor here at that time. And in one of our classes together, he came up to me afterwards, and I'd always thought about Todd as one of those guys, man, I'd really love to work with him if ever I had the opportunity, because he's just a dynamic speaker, a dynamic guy that can really just invest in people, and he just had a way of talking that was great. And so I thought, well, I'd always love to work with him. And he came up to me after class one day, and he goes, hey, we're in kind of a transition, and next week I'm going to be trying out to be the senior pastor at my church, and I want to know if you'd be interested in being the youth guy. We can't really pay you anything. I think they were paying me like $4,000 or something like that. And I was a full-time employee when I came on. And so, but guys, that has been 15 years ago now. 14 years? Something. Good grief, it's been forever. It was 2004, so 14 years ago now that happened on June 5th, 6th, thank you. It was on Zoe's birthday. Her 5th birthday, I was hired. And so she's in college now, if that tells you anything. But getting to watch her grow for the years and just, being here and seeing you here today makes this just an amazing thing. Thank you for coming back from Muncie to see me. She even rescheduled work so she could be here. That's awesome. Thank you, Zoe. But as I've gone through this process, I stood with you a year ago on June 30th-ish, give or take, and stood here with you guys and just talked about all of the amazing opportunities and all the way that God had showed up and all of the things. At that point in time, we bought a house that we had walked through one time. Turned out it's a great house. Didn't know. We fell in love with the property, but it's turned out to be a great home to raise our kids in. The school has turned out to be a great school for my kids. Nothing against Louisiana or Sterlington where we live, but Aiden was like, hey, I'm repeating first grade again, but I'm in second grade. So Pendleton school systems have a big jump over what we've experienced there, and we're in the best school in our district. I've been there for a year now. I've been working at the church. I've been a part of the church. Many of you have asked, how is the church going? There's a big part of this that caught me off guard. I've really had to live by Psalm 139 this year. God, you have searched me and you know me. And he has given me so many signs and so many confirmations over the time that this is indeed where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing. But I didn't know that for the first 9.5, 10 months I was there, I was in grief over you. That should be a good thing for you. I was working full time at the church. I was doing my job. I was invested, but I wasn't eager to show up every day and do it like I was doing it here. And one day, about 10 weeks ago, I just kind of woke up and I realized that I had been in this fog and that I wasn't really giving it but about 75%. And that is honestly an attribute to you and what you guys did for me over the 13 years that I was here, not just as an employee, but as a friend. Not just as a friend, but as a brother. And some of you allowed me to be your pastor. Some of you allowed me to be your sons or grandsons. Some of you allowed me to be your brother or your nephew. And that's been awesome, and I have missed that. And just a word of what that has meant to me was just how much I grieved, and I didn't even know that was what was pushing me down. So you guys are stinking awesome. Sorry, I won't blow directly into that again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I wanted to kind of walk through this verse that has been my driving force, and then as I do this, I want to just share with you our story of where we've been, how you can continue to pray for us, how you can continue to be a part of our journey. But if my tablet will start working, it would be wonderful. It's thinking about working. Don't you love? When technology works, it is awesome. When it does not, it is horrible. Psalm 139, and it's lengthy, so bear with me. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going on and my lying down, my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in, behind, and before. You lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there, your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for the darkness is as light to you. For you created me in my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full and well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. And I share that with you because not everything that's happened in the last year has been awesome. A lot of you have asked, what about the kids? How are they doing? And the kids are doing great, but it's been a transition. Malachi for the last 2 weeks has been bouncing off the wall because when church is over today, we're going to go out to the park, and every one of you are invited. Run through, drive through, get you some lunch, come out to the park. We're just going to hang out and have kind of a picnic lunch. But Malachi had a group of 7 friends that he ran around with from kindergarten until we left. 5 of them are able to come out to the park right after church today. And so he's been bouncing off the wall. He is so excited. And the two who couldn't, they might just meet us at Quack Daddy's for breakfast in the morning. One of them for sure is, and maybe the second one. But there was a day. There was a day, and I remember it so vividly because it was Amy's birthday. And Malachi came downstairs, and he didn't want to get on the bus. And he just was sick with fear. And he had, somehow or another, he had stayed up all night that night and decided that we were moving back to Pendleton. And there was no other way. And he was brokenhearted because, of all things, he got a B in conduct. Now, if I ever brought a B in conduct home, my parents were dancing a jig. But he was so scared that he was in trouble, and he just wanted the familiar. And I can tell you, all of us at some point in time over this last year have wanted the familiar. That's who we are. We as created beings want the familiar. And you, for all your warts and freckles, and me for all of mine, you are family. And that hasn't changed by 900 miles. That hasn't changed by 1 year. That hasn't changed for 1 second. You are still my family. I was so glad since we've been down there, Jim and Cherry and Nia made a trip down to Louisiana to visit us. They were coming to Memphis, and they said, hey, well, that's pretty close to Trey. That's only 4 hours one direction out of our way. And so they drove an extra 8-hour round trip to come spend the night with us for a couple of nights. We have a spare bed, and if we don't have enough room for you, we got a spare house. Mom bought a house that's just about 4 miles from us. And she's got a couple of spare rooms in a few weeks. Mom's lived in Indiana all of her life. And this year, for the first time, her water pipes froze in her house in Louisiana and flooded her entire home. Her entire home. So apparently it's common in Louisiana to put the hot water heaters in the attic. And hers is on the north end of the house, right at the gable vent. And all of the copper pipe is exposed. There's nothing insulated on it. And so it froze and flooded her entire home. So the last of the flooring is supposed to go in next week. Yeah, a 30-year-old house, first time it's ever happened there. So if it tells you it was cold this year, it got down to 19 degrees in Louisiana. We got a 1/4 inch of snow one day, and they let school out for 2 days. Vernon understands, don't you? The Atlanta area, man, you get a little bit of frozen precip, everything shuts down. And so we've had trials. We've had trials. I mentioned I was in a depression, in a grief process for a long time. Amy's job, Amy loves what she does. She did not end up in an office that resembles what she came from. Did God give her the job? Yes. Does she know how long she's going to be there? No. Is it her forever job? No. But God still has her there for now. She actually has applied because she doesn't know what the future holds. She applied for her doctorate program, to start her doctorate program, maybe in January, if that works out. So continue to pray for her. It doesn't mean she's looking for a new job right now. It just means that she knows this isn't forever. And so it's opened her eyes. So there's some possibilities. You know, Mom, when she left here, she had a broken neck. She was wearing a C-collar still. And unfortunately, it took her about 4 months to get into a doctor down there that said, oh, you can take that off now. So she didn't drive for a while when she was down there. But life is still good. God is still in control. And there are things that are absolutely phenomenal about the church that I'm at, but they're still not you. You know, there are things that they do better than you and things that they do worse. They're just different. Because every opportunity in life for us is different. You know, when one of the things that I've often, Ryan and I challenged ourselves with so much is, one thing is constant in this world. It is changing, which means we have an opportunity to choose how we change. And all of you do. All of you have the opportunity to choose how you will change. Because as a church, typically that change comes in two forms. Either you continue to grow or you continue to die. So as a church, we always have to make these decisions. I can remember the day that the pews were taken out of here. I can remember that. I can remember the week that sound booth was built. I can remember the day that we enclosed the toddler room. I can remember the day we hung this screen in front of the cross that Buck once stood on. I can remember those changes. And here's the thing. We have chosen over and over and over again as a church to choose to die to self rather than to let the church die. And that is the necessary choice each and every time we come up against obstacles. It was not easy for us to move to Louisiana. And there I said it that way, Louisiana. If you're from here, you say Louisiana. If you're from there, it's Louisiana. If you're from South Louisiana, it's Louisiana. If you got that Cajun accent, Terry always liked when I did the Cajun accent. But I live in redneck territory, and we talk a lot more like this most often. Funny enough, almost all of my preaching career has happened here in Indiana, and so when I open my Bible, when I pray, when I talk from a stage, when you hand me a microphone, almost always I'm in a northern accent. So it's not just because I'm back here, it's because it's the only way I know to do it. So Malachi, his, second month of school, one kid looks at him and goes, "You pronounce words just like they're written." And he came home and he thought that was the most hilarious thing he'd ever been told. And it is. It's hysterical. But that's life. But let me tell you something that's really cool. Whether you're in Anderson or Pendleton or Monroe, Louisiana, God is moving. God is doing amazing things. I wish I'd thought to put together a PowerPoint for Chris or something. I should have. But we stole from you. The church in Monroe stole from you, and we did a shopping trip. We did a shopping trip back about 2 months ago. This church has one ministry of outreach that they do. They do a lot of financing of ministry, but they have one ministry that they do. There's a soup kitchen in a very, very, very poor part of town, and every quarter on the 5th Monday of the month, whenever there's 5 Mondays in a month, our church goes to this soup kitchen and we serve 300 people a lunch. And so we were getting ready to do that, and I called them and I said, "Hey, what do you, not can we show up and bring food with us to make, but what do you need?" School was just letting out. I said, "What do you need?" And they said, "Well, we put bags of food together to go with the families that have children at home, because they're used to getting meals once a day at school or twice a day at school, depending on whether they eat breakfast or not there. And so we try to put some essential foods into a bag with them and let them take it home so that the kids have something." I said, "Well, can you send me a list of what kind of stuff you have in there?" And she said, "Absolutely." Well, we have a Dollar General close to us, kind of like here, and we have a Brookshire's supermarket, which is kind of like what used to be Marsh. What's the name of it now? Needlers. Needlers. Okay. Sorry. Didn't know. And so I just told them, and I did like I did with you guys for years. I went into Brookshire's first thing that morning, and I went into the Dollar General first thing that morning, and I told them, "Hey guys, there's going to be a bunch of church people that show up here in a little while. Here's my business card. If they get out of hand, call me." And so, which turned out to be absolutely awesome. We actually ended up having a couple people, because Sam's is about 5 miles from the church, that drove to Sam's and bought big bulk stuff. And they came back and they're like, "Well, I felt really weird, number one, walking into a place when I was supposed to be in church. And a couple of people asked me, don't you go to church? Aren't you, that I knew, like, what are you doing here? And I thought, well, what are you doing here? I thought you went to church too. But but they felt super awesome being able to go, actually, I'm here buying stuff for my church. And in our first time to ever try to do this, they went out and in 40 minutes, they bought $1,400 worth of groceries. And I gave them 1 week notice, and I kind of explained what we would be doing. And my associate pastor who preceded me there, he was like, Trey, I'm willing to give this a shot, but we'll just see. And I said, hey, that's exactly what my wife and what Sally told me 8 years ago when we tried it in Pendleton. And so they were able to do very similar to the type of ministry and outreach. And because we have a large group of our congregation they're still working ages. We only have about 5 or 6 retirees total in the church. And 2 of those are retired pastors, one of which planted the church in the 50s. And so when we do like the cooking at the shelter, at the soup kitchen, I only have like 4 people that are there from our church. We have another church, a sister congregation that's in the neighboring town to us. It's in Duck Dynasty country. It's in West Monroe. We're in Monroe, just on the other side of the Ouachita River, which is not spelled with a W. Ouachitah, named after the Ouachita Indians, a local tribe that was there. Anyway, like you needed a Monroe history lesson. But anyway, their church has a high retiree count, and so they bring about 15 people, and we bring about 4. So, and usually I'm one of the 4. So I won't be there tomorrow. That's kind of sad. I hate not being there on my 1-year anniversary of starting at the church. But that's okay. I'm here with you instead. But because of that, we have so few people that are able to be involved, and this was kind of that first ministry opportunity for people to get involved. And our young families, we have 7 couples in our church that have been married under 10 years, that are young families just getting started. We've got a bunch of babies and a couple on the way, and so our nursery is kind of overflowing right now, which is an awesome problem to have. But they were so excited because we kept the nursery open so that those with toddlers could leave them and go do. But our age kids and above, they all went shopping with the families, and it was just a great thing. People were all over social media. They were like, "Ooh, I love my church," and, doing things. But that's the beauty of the transforming culture. Louisiana is the belt buckle of the Bible Belt. I mean, it's that clasp. You don't have an 80% Christian population. You have a 99.8% Christian population. But 30% of that population could not fit in all of the churches in Ouachita Parish. They couldn't hold 30% of the population if they all showed up on one Sunday. That's not different than here. And so, just because you know people who are Christians doesn't mean that they can't be invited to come and experience worship with you. We're finding out that inviting people in Louisiana is a little different. Oh, I've got a church home. Really? When was the last time you went? Oh, I was baptized there when I was 3. So do you have a church home then? Really? But I've told people from the beginning, one of the things is it's really difficult for me to invite people. So remember that with Ryan and with Casey, because this is what that sounds like for us to invite people. Hey, would you like to come hear me talk for about 30 minutes? That's a really hard sell, right? But you guys still have that opportunity. Ryan is still in his first year. What I told people is, hey guys, think of me as the brand new giant panda at the zoo. You've got this great new attraction. Why don't you come see the giant panda? And you still have, I think of Ryan more as like a lemur, but Sorry. Sorry, Ryan. He is watching right now. He texted me a while ago. But at least I didn't say sloth, right? I was just trying to think of, wiry, skinny, creatures, and there's not many of us. So, but anyway. All right, I've just stuck my foot so deep down my throat. There's really, yes. All right. Here's another part of the church, okay? They don't laugh. Very weird. I can remember, it was fifth week I was there, and I said, all right, I'm going to start with a joke. And the former pastor goes, it's a joke, guys, laugh. And so if that gives you any idea, because you've known me long enough to know, I have this kind of dry humor, and I will, if you don't laugh, I'm just going to keep going, right? I've got my mom and her best friend sitting on the back row because my mom can't be too close to me just in case I say something really bad. But see, they would not have laughed at that at all. You guys at least yeah, that's funny. Right. I have told the Shiva story there from the pulpit. They laughed. They laughed at that one. For those of you who don't know, I once did a sermon on the grief process, and in Jewish terminology, that is called to sit Shiva with someone.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to attempt it again, because the last time I did, I made it through the whole sermon very clearly enunciating my words, and then I said, now, if you would like to come and pray today, we would love to come and I inverted those words in a form. We would love to come and poo with you, is what I told them. And I was very disappointed the next week, actually, Brian and Eric, because I expected instead of tissue paper to be toilet paper up here the next week, but there wasn't. But that's you guys are engaging, and I love that, and they're learning that. They're learning it. So, I'm just all over the place. All right, I'm going to finish it up. We're at 11:22. I know you don't. Guys, I love you all. I miss you dearly. If you ever want a vacation to a place that is much warmer in the winter, don't come in the summer. It was at 6 o'clock yesterday morning when we left, it was 83 degrees with 90% humidity with a heat index of 92 at 6 a.m. The sun wasn't even up. Today, here in Indiana, the high is 80 at this afternoon.
Okay, that's just because we got lucky.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's been worse here, I understand, but it is, our heat index has run anywhere from 115 to 125 every day for the last 2 months. And it's a hot summer. Don't get me wrong, it's a hot summer everywhere for sure. It's hotter than normal there, but whew. Gosh, I keep deviating from my point. See, you guys just can't keep me on track. I love you all. I miss you all. You are very special. And everyone you know would be so privileged to go to church with you. Everyone you know would be so privileged to have a family like this. Don't forget that. Don't forget how special this place is. As I see Brother Ramon over here, Pastor Ramon. What bunch of idiots would unknowingly invite them into our church? Y'all didn't know Brother Ramon at all. You didn't know Pastor Ramon. You met him twice. But you said, there's a ministry to be had And Pastor Ramon has been able to do so much because of what this church said, we're just going to get out of your way. You need a place to stay? Here you go. You need stuff to worship with? Here it is. You need technology and lights and electricity? It's there. Enjoy and go and change the world. And that is so special. And everyone that you know deserves to have a place like this. So tell them about it. Tell them about this place. Tell them about these people. Tell them about your lemur. Tell them about your worship team. Casey, Marissa, Carol, Jean. You guys do phenomenal. You as a church don't know what you have. Love it. Remember it. Share it. And give God glory for it. Because this is awesome. So for prayers for us, would you pray that we don't try to keep making Monroe Pendleton? It can't be duplicated. Our goal is the same there as it was here. My goal wherever I am is to help make the church that God has called me to serve to be the best church they are called to be. And I hope like crazy, and I believe that I played a big part in helping you guys find that. And I'm thankful that you let such a weird kid lead you. I am thankful that you let me try silly, stupid things and fall on my face sometimes and excel at times because you guys trusted who God called us to be. Don't forsake that, but pray that Monroe will continue to find its identity and that I can be a part of guiding them through that process. For Amy, pray for guidance and wisdom as she discerns. She doesn't know how long she's supposed to be at the job that she's at. She is looking in the way of education to see what those steps are. She doesn't feel completely released yet. And so just pray for wisdom on that. For the boys, pray that they will continue to connect and make friends, and they will continue to build relationships that will live for their entire life with friends like those that you are. And for Mom, pray that her house gets finished. Pray that as she continues to desire to travel and spend time here at the lake house, and so she may just swing through some Sunday. You may not have any warning, but she may just swing through some Sunday. Pray that as she feels led to come here, and she feels led to be in Orlando at times with her other grandkids and her 2 other kids, and as she's in Monroe with us at times, that God will continue to give her strength and guidance and joy as she enjoys her retirement, as she enjoys her family, as she enjoys the life that God has given her. And my prayer for you, will God continue to make you the best that he made you to be? And will you continue to transform the culture of Pendleton and Anderson for all that God has for it? There is brokenness and poverty all around us. And you guys have done and continue to do a phenomenal job of meeting people where they are. And I pray that that light never dims. Revelation says this about the church of Laodicea: you are lukewarm. Let's not ever become lukewarm. Let's stay useful in life, useful in ministry, and useful to the purpose that he has called us to. And so if you'll allow me, I think I'm closing too, right? I did have something here. Happy birthday, Jack. The congregation passed around some cards, and we've got a couple birthday cards that I'm going to hand you afterwards. But we want to say happy birthday to you. Macy, welcome to adulthood. Happy 18th birthday. Do you have to start paying rent today? Her eyes got really big for a moment. I hope not, is what she said. Not yet, Vernon says. Dad goes, whoa, I hadn't thought about that yet. Again, you guys are all invited out to the park. I think we're going to run through, I don't know, we're going to Wendy's or something. I have no idea. We're going to do drive-through, grab some food. We're going to head out to the park. And so just look for us if you want to come. If you can't, we completely understand. Know that even if I haven't had a chance to sit and spend a long time with you this morning, we love you, and we are so happy to be here with you today, and hope to be able to do it again. We have kept and intend to keep our house up in North Indiana, the family home up there, so that once a year it forces us to come and see you. Not that we have to be twisted very hard. All right, let me pray for you guys. God, thank you for your Spirit that you have sent to this place. Thank you for the call that you have placed on this community, on this congregation, on these individuals. May they continue to be plugged into your voice. May they see the people and places that you would have them to see. May they hear your voice, and may their lips be filled with your words of praise and glory. May their ears hear the hurting words of people around them. And may they see him with your eyes to know that they also were created by you. Father, we just pray your blessing and your anointing on this place. The miracle on Water Street has not stopped yet. And may it continue to transform the culture and community for decades to come, for centuries to come, for millennia to come, so that their lives are all counted for in your kingdom. Father, may their lives be changed and this world be changed because of what you're doing. And may we give you the praise. Amen.